Okay, so we have just a little bit of a follow-up when it comes to the Nintendo Switch successor. It is a follow-up on the report, or just the talking that was done from VGC yesterday. If you haven't seen my video on that and the full article from VGC, check out the link in the description. There'll be more information there. But like I said in that previous video, and I'll say it again right now, that was a nothing burger. There was pretty much no new information that you couldn't really decide for yourself. But then again, I guess it's good to actually discuss some of the specifics that some people are saying out there, or at least there's some sources out there from somebody that would be maybe reputable to some people out there. So once again, this system is going to be a hybrid design. So it is going to be a Nintendo Switch 2. It is going to be a hybrid design. It's probably going to be a Nintendo Switch 2 or Nintendo Switch something or Nintendo Switch Super or something along the lines of that, based off of now another report that is coming in from Eurogamer. Now, the thing about this, guys, is that Eurogamer, they have like super clout. Like, I'm not even gonna sit here in front and act like they don't. Last time I tried to check them on something, I got absolutely bodied, destroyed, finished, cooked. I mean, it was just shook, you juked. I mean, it was bad, you know, so I'm not going to do that here. Trust me, I'm not going to do that here. I'm going to take this more in stride and, of course, say, hey, okay, Eurogamer's now reporting something, because the follow-up article here from Eurogamer has some interesting information that kind of just follows up on what VGC had to say here, but it's Eurogamer. So before we get into that, because it's very interesting and actually a bunch of other really cool news. What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to the video. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get all the latest Nintendo Switch RPG news first. Now let's go ahead and jump into this here, because Eurogamer did put out an article saying Nintendo Switch successor reportedly due late 2024, another hybrid console expected. Now, the one thing about this, guys, is that there were a bunch of people that were trying to say Nintendo's going to Nintendo's going to mess this up, Nintendo's going to do something, which is stupid in my opinion. I mean, if you don't like a decision, that's fine, but to sit there and act like Nintendo's like these boneheaded people that always makes all these mistakes and can't sell anything, they always get in their own way, is ridiculous. They've been selling these portable or hybrid type systems for decades now and have had incredibly good success. Now, no company's perfect, and I'm not going to sit here and say that they are. I've had my own fair share of stuff, but when people say that, it's just generally because they don't like a decision. Even if it's successful, they don't like a decision and they think that Nintendo can't help themselves, which is just ridiculous. Nintendo has sold so many systems over the years. People start making up stupid excuses, lightning in a bottle, all this crap that's never applied to anybody else, you know, when it comes down to it. So it's silly, but let's get back on track here when it comes down to it. So Nintendo's next-gen Switch console is currently set to debut in the second half of 2024, according to a new report. Development kits for the console have now been passed to third-party developers, VGC states, ahead of its debut next year. Now, Eurogamer sources, now this is the new information from Eurogamer, Eurogamer sources also expect a launch window in the latter half of 2024 for the next Switch console, which will remain playable in a handheld configuration. So they are saying that they have sources that this next Switch is going to have a hybrid configuration. It is, or it will be able to be played anywhere that you want. So essentially, it is a follow-up to the Nintendo Switch. It absolutely is. Now, to continue here with VGC's report, cites development sources which claim Nintendo is looking to debut its next console with an LCD screen rather than an OLED in order to cut costs. The system will also reportedly continue to read physical media via cartridge. There are questions, though, about backwards compatibility. Will Switch 2 support Switch games? Here, VG states that some third-party publishers have suggested including the feature could cannibalize their ability to resell older games on Nintendo's new hardware. Nintendo is widely expected to be on the cusp of releasing new hardware as Switch hardware sales continue to slow. Switch software sales remain hugely profitable at present, however, and Nintendo recently announced a bumper crop of games which will see the Switch's current hardware generation extended into the first half of next year. The remainder of 2023 will see the arrival of Super Mario Wonder, Super Mario RPG, a new WarioWare game. In 2024, there is a new Princess Peach game and an enhanced version remaster of Luigi's Mansion 2, but these feel likely arrive before the Switch sees its final summer and before the year's profitable holiday season. The long-delayed Metroid Prime 4 remains undated. Eurogamer has contacted Nintendo for comment, which they will get nothing back in return. So I just find this ridiculous here in terms of the backwards compatibility thing. Like, this just seems so weird that third-party developers, or at least there's some concern with that. Was there the same concern with Microsoft and Sony? Like, there's backwards compatibility with the Xbox One to the Xbox Series. There's backwards compatibility with the PS4 to the PS5. So I don't understand how this is some type of huge concern when everybody else has it at this point. And if you're even talking about PC, you can play old school games from back in the day in, like, you know, the graphics cards weren't as advanced and all that. So that's generally, I guess, backwards compatibility, quote unquote, right? So I don't understand why it's some type of specific problem here. So that part of the report to me is stupid. Like, I get that, yeah, maybe you can't resell some stuff. So let's say if you have a better version of Doom or something like that, right? So if you port it and you can sell that for full price. But that's the same situation for Xbox. That's the same situation for PlayStation. That makes absolutely no sense. Release an enhanced version like The Witcher, how they enhanced it. Release it, and that's that. If it's backwards compatible, there's no issue there. You can release the two versions. Ubisoft does this. CD Projekt Red does this. Pretty much every company does this when it comes down to it, or you just have the backwards compatibility and continue to sell that cartridge that you had on the new system. This is stupid. Honestly, there's nothing for me to say outside of this is stupid. Like, that thought process is dumb because everybody else has backwards compatibility to some degree or not. And it's not an issue, but somehow it's some type of big issue here. Nobody's gonna sit here and buy the same games over and over again on the Nintendo Switch 2. Like, third-party developers, they're not gonna do that, okay? I know they like to think that, but that's not actually going to happen if you sit there and shove the same thing because you want to be greedy about it. So that's just weird, and I'll always say that's weird. I think that the system is going to be, once again, they say it here, cartridge format. I've been saying this, I don't need a report from them, but I felt that it was going to be a follow-up to the Nintendo Switch. I feel that it's going to have backwards compatibility. It's going to be able to take cartridges. The new one apparently takes cartridges, so to me, it's going to be very much like a Nintendo DS to Nintendo 3DS situation. I think Nintendo's treating it very similar to that. You're going to get a much more powerful system. The 3DS is far more powerful than the DS. With the Nintendo 3DS, you were able to play DS games and you're able to play 3DS games, and they look pretty similar with the exception of like that little extra latch at the top of it. So I think that's what they're trying to go for with this. Just make a really good successor to the Nintendo Switch and carry over everything to where there is that smooth transition, which we've already discussed. Furukawa has discussed. I really don't think this is like a big issue. I know people are making it into that, and there's been so many videos and debates and this and that, but if they're making a modular successor to the Nintendo Switch that's portable based, that takes cartridges and uses Nintendo accounts, I mean, it would just be really weird if it didn't have that Nintendo Switch backwards compatibility. Plus, I'm looking at Nintendo's history with those really successful systems like the Game Boy, the GBA, the DS. I mean, they usually have that backwards compatibility when they move over to the next thing, unless it's a complete departure from what they've done before. So that's my opinion on it. We'll see, right? We're gonna have to wait and see. They're saying later half 2024, so Nintendo still has quite a number of games to be released here. But I also want to add this in real quick, kind of like a final point, that Nintendo's selling big games like Super Mario Wonder. They're going to be selling big games with the Princess Peach game. They're going to be selling Super Mario RPG. They continue to sell their big games like The Legend of Zelda and all that. I'm pretty sure they want to still keep selling those games without having to waste the resources of porting over. So I think Nintendo's just going to want to be able to carry over those games to where people that have that next Switch can buy Super Mario Bros. Wonder, people can buy Smash Brothers, people can buy whatever they want and have it available. That really helps out with sales, in my opinion. So that's that. But let's talk about some other big news that's happening, because there is a franchise, an RPG franchise, that's going to get an announcement on August 8th, and that is Gust with a brand new Atelier game. Now, these Atelier games are really good, guys. You want the best or some of the best AA RPGs in the business, that is the Atelier Ryza series. Even Atelier Marie is really good on the Switch as well. But now Gust and Koei Tecmo have a new Atelier game that they will be revealing soon. So publisher Koei Tecmo and developer Gust will announce a brand new title in the Atelier series on August 8th at 21 JST. You'll be able to watch the announcement of that on YouTube. Now, 2 titles in the Atelier series have been released this year. We have the Atelier Marie remake, The Alchemist of Salberg, which that is officially the first Atelier game ever made. So it's actually pretty cool that they went back and remade that one. It's an old RPG. That was on July 13th, so you can go pick that game up. It's solid from what I've seen so far. Now, Atelier Ryza 3, Alchemist of the End, and the Secret Key launched back on March 23rd, and that game is really good. Probably the best overall in terms of gameplay of the Atelier franchise. And I've played a lot of Atelier games in my day, but Atelier Ryza 3 is phenomenal. It is really good no matter what system you pick it up on, whether it's the Switch or if it's PC, if it's PlayStation. It's a fantastic game. So check out the Atelier Ryza series if you're looking to get into it. You can start with the first Atelier Ryza game and then kind of go from there. But I'm looking forward to seeing the direction that they go with this new Atelier game, because Atelier Ryza was by far their most successful Atelier game of all time. They sold millions of copies of the games combined with the trilogy. So it's going to be interesting to see if this new protagonist has the same type of flair and the same type of attraction that people love with Atelier Ryza and her crew, and what they do gameplay wise to mix things up and to bring something different to the table. Each Atelier game kind of added in new elements, and by the third game you had a sprawling world with different biomes and really cool ways to explore, and underwater, and you had like these different animals and stuff that you can ride on. It was crazy what they've done from the first Atelier game to the third one, and the combat got way more dynamic and more fun, and the music to me got better and better. Now the story and all that, it's up for debate which one you like the most and all that. Obviously that's going to be super subjective, but at the end of the day, all 3 games are really good. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do here with this brand new title. But speaking of looking forward to something here, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. We got the DLC. Rayman is finally coming out. The Phantom Show launches on August 30th. So it's going to be at the end of the month as of the time that I'm recording this video. Rayman returns, baby. So publisher Ubisoft and developer Ubisoft Milan will release Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope's third and final downloadable content, Rayman in the Phantom Show. On August 30th, the company's announced. Here is a little bit of an overview. So Rayman is back in Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope downloadable content. Rayman in the Phantom Show, launching on August 30th exclusively on Nintendo Switch. In this third and final downloadable content, Rayman will team up with Rabbid Mario and Rabbid Peach as they face the Phantom, a towering, musically inclined enemy previously featured in Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. In this new adventure, separate from the main game story, the Phantom now works as a studio director at a dramatic space opera network, an uncanny TV studio filled with Easter eggs and props. As the studio's TV ratings hit a new low, the Phantom needs the help of true stars that can help him return to his former glory. Now players will control Rayman, Rabbid Peach, and Rabbid Mario as they explore brand new levels with vertical exploration on the variety of TV studio sets. Rayman can use his helicopter ability and bring his fellow heroes with him as he jumps, leverage the full power of Rayman's arsenal and his aerial traversal skills to his plunger blaster to open up new tactical possibilities during battles. Actor David Gassman reprises his role as Rayman for this downloadable content with an original soundtrack composed by Christopher Burrell, who did Rayman Origins, Rayman Legends, and of course the legendary Grant Kirkhope. So you guys are checking out the new trailer. So I'll say this, like, I do like Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. I think that it's a good game, but I think that the structure and what they did for the DLC rollout and all that was atrocious. Like, I know that it worked for them with Mario plus Rabbids, but I think that with this one, I think that they got a little bit too greedy with the content, and I think that the structure should have been a little bit different since it's a follow-up to a strategy RPG. I personally feel, and I even said this before, that all of this DLC and all this different stuff that they're doing, that should have just been something that was in the game. Rayman should have been a character that you can have in the game and use, and I think that would have been a little bit more hype than playing with Rabbids. If you take Rayman and you take the characters from that series and you put them with Mario, I think that makes it a bit more appealing. Now, obviously, Mario plus Rabbids was really successful, and they had a great time making it, and Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope is a better game, but the Rabbids, in terms of like the shock value, that kind of wore off already with Mario plus Rabbids. So with this game, you kind of have to go above and beyond that, and I don't really think that they did go above and beyond. Now, going above and beyond would have been able to include all of this stuff from the beginning. So having Rayman as an actual character, Rayman and his crew, I think that would have done way better for this type of game, to where maybe they would have been okay or hit their sales targets. Now, we don't know where the game is sold at, but I'm guessing that it sold over 1 million units at this point. It's been a bestseller on Amazon, it's been good on the eShop, but we don't really know where it's at. But I'm guessing it's over 1 million units. So I'm hoping that whatever they do next, or if there is a next game, I'm hoping that they actually say, okay, let's leverage the Rayman IP, we own the IP, let's leverage that, and instead of putting in the Rabbids, and I get it, they're funny, they make the noises, blah, 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 I get all that, have it to where it's like Mario plus Rayman. I think that would be more hype and more lit than Mario plus Rabbids. I don't think that the Rabbids name is actually valuable in any way, shape, or form. Like, honestly, I really don't. I think Rayman is more valuable than Rabbids at this point. Now, at one point, maybe not, but I think at this point, Rayman's a bit more valuable. So for the next title, definitely make it Mario plus Rayman, you know, and make whatever game that you want to make there, because that's infinitely more cool than Rabbids. And I think that the welcome has been worn off for that character. I know a lot of you guys might disagree, but I think that something that nobody will disagree with is the fact that it's kind of upsetting that a big game, big RPG is being delayed until next year. And that is Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes. We have a delay to Q2 of 2024. So let's go ahead and get into this here. So publisher 505 Games and developer Rabbit and Bear Studios have delayed strategy RPG Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes from its previously planned 2023 release window to Q2 2024. It will be available for the PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC via Steam, Epic Game Store, and GOG when it launches, as well as the Xbox Game Pass. So it's set up on pretty much everything here. Now, according to Rabbit and Bear Studios, quote, the decision was made in order to ensure the best possible story and to reward the legion of Kickstarter backers with the best game experience possible. The developer also published a 3-minute gameplay video, which you guys are checking out right here. And yeah, I think at the end of the day, delays happen. We've seen delays all the time. It happens with some of the best games out there. And if you need to delay something in order to hit on your targets or in order to make a better gameplay experience, you do that. You don't wait and then do patches. You get that done. So it's better just to delay the game, delay it as long as you need to delay it, and make the game as best as possible, because people have been waiting a long time for this game, and the last thing that you want to do is to release a game that is subpar. So delay it, put in what you need to put in, make sure the Kickstarter backers get everything that they need, because you don't need to be on those videos where people are talking about Kickstarter scams and all that type of stuff. So put it into where you get everything that's in there and make sure that's not a broken mess, especially since you're launching on every single system ever made, you know, and it's going to be a Game Pass game as well. So you want a good experience. So that's my thoughts on that, guys. What do you think about the different topics that we discussed here? A lot to go over. Let me know in the comment section. Also, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out our other RPG news videos, Nintendo Switch videos right here on screen. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you for the next one. Peace.